Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. This is episode number 4 of the Diverse Places Revision series over here on my channel. I hope you enjoy. Today we're going to be investigating connections, and I hope you enjoy. I hope it's what you're here for. If you are an A-level geography student, why not subscribe down below? I make one of these every single week. We're going through the whole geography A-level specification. I've actually already gone through quite a lot of it, so go ahead, find those playlists on my channel. They're in the playlist section. There's a one for each topic, so go watch them to your heart's content. Share them with whoever you think might need them. And yeah, today we're going to be looking at investigating connections. So I hope you enjoy. I hope you learned something. Get comfy and let's get into this. A sense of belonging. Do you feel that you belong in the place where you live or study? How attached are you to it? Yorkshire people usually have a very strong sense of identity to Yorkshire. Two neighbouring towns in West Yorkshire, Morley and Dewsbury, were once at the heart of the West Yorkshire textile manufacturing region. However, changes experienced by both towns help to illustrate significant economic and demographic changes within the UK as a whole. Technically, as the map shows, Morley is part of the Leeds city, but Morley residents rarely identify themselves with Leeds. A sense of regional identity. Like most towns in West Yorkshire, Morley and Dewsbury have similar older buildings that help to give them their character. This picture is from 1957, showing a typical scene of both towns at the time. There was a strong sense of community and locality in West Yorkshire towns. Each town even produced different textile products from its neighbours. Political geographers and sociologists argued that centripetal forces were at work, i.e. forces that drew people together. One of the most significant was work. The back-to-back terrace houses are a characteristic of West Yorkshire towns. They were built by the owners of the textile mills and where most people worked. At its peak, Morley had over 30 mills, and their related communities lived and worked closely together. Family connections were also important. When someone left school, they'd often start work in the same place as one of their parents. Sons with fathers, daughters with mothers. Young people were also likely to marry someone they grew up with and continue to live locally. All change. If 1950s Yorkshire sounds different from where you live, that's true for most places in the UK. Globalisation and immigration have brought demographic and cultural change. Globalisation has driven traditional communities apart, known as centrifugal forces, and immigration has changed the character of many places. The impact of globalisation. By the 1980s, Morley's textile mills had all closed. Without them, younger people were forced to move away, causing demographic change. So that 3 decades later, in 2011, Morley's age profile was older than that of Leeds. The old textile mills in the centre of town have now been replaced by new industrial estates on the outskirts. Morley is located near the intersection of the M1, linking Leeds and London, and the M62 linking Liverpool and Hull, which makes its industrial estates ideal for warehousing and home delivery companies. Most of Morley's population now works outside the town, which is an easy commute to Leeds and Bradford. Unemployment is lower than the UK's average. Immigration and cultural change. Like many of the UK's industrial towns, Dewsbury advertised job vacancies in India and Pakistan in the 1950s. Just as Southall attracted many Indian Sikhs and Hindus, Dewsbury attracted mainly Pakistani Muslims, who now constitute for 35% of the town's population. Immigration has changed the character of the town. Its mosque, the Markazi Masjid, I'm probably butchering the pronunciation, is an important religious centre, and the town also has a Sharia court for local Muslim disputes. Dewsbury has therefore undergone significant cultural change. Its close sense of community is helped by the mosque, by close family ties, and by one of Northern England's traditional markets. A changing economy. By the 1980s, several textile mills were owned by TNC clothing chains. However, these companies closed the mills because clothing produced there was more expensive than that produced overseas. To replace the lost jobs, the government encouraged growth in a post-industrial economy in tertiary service employment, such as distribution and retail, like the industrial estates in Dewsbury, which has reminders of its industrial past. Investigating local and cultural changes. Local demographic and cultural changes. Investigating change where you live or study is fertile territory for geographical fieldwork. There are many ways of collecting data, both quantitative and qualitative, to observe, measure and record changes that are happening locally. Quantitative approaches to studying places. Quantitative data are sometimes called hard data and are collected on scientific principles. Most quantitative data consists of tables of figures. They can be primary, collected by yourself, unprocessed, or secondary, collected and processed by another party. Migration surveys. Demography is the study of changing populations, numbers, structure and characteristics. It focuses on social rather than economic processes, where people were born, their migration patterns, including at what age they moved and their reasons for moving. So these surveys are very good at recording population mobility. And then profiling. Profiling uses census data to identify population characteristics. The data here shows how different the two towns, Morley and Dewsbury, are now, and census data from 1951 would show that what had changed. To get the census data, visit the Office for National Statistics website or use a search engine using phrases such as census data Dewsbury. Many county and borough councils publish census data and GIS maps to show several indicators such as multiple deprivation. Qualitative approaches for investigating places. Photos of places from different periods allow you to study change and then explore through interviews reasons for those changes and the ways in which they affect local people. An older generation may have photos to actually show the changes of the place. Local research in libraries and online could trace past history in words and pictures, and census data could tell you which houses were once owned by the mill owners. Interviews. Interviews record people's personal experiences. They can be structured or unstructured or semi-structured. Interviews can be carried out with individuals or focus groups. Social media. Different social media are increasingly being used by a wide cross-section of the population. In 2016, there were several Facebook pages about Morley and Dewsbury, in which featured news, photos, memories of each place. The local newspaper for each town, the Morley Observer and the Dewsbury Reporter, also feature on Twitter. These sources can be used to research change and are important for recording people's personal experiences. Many memories are of school days, of changes to shops, places of work and housing, and also whether people perceive these changes to have been beneficial or not. And that is the end of episode number 4 of this series. I hope you enjoyed, I hope you learned something. If you did, please do hit that subscribe button down below, it really helps me out. And I will see you same time, same place next week, where we're looking at how different people view diverse living spaces. So stick around, I will see you same time, same place next week, Monday, 4:30 p.m. Bye guys.